Hi, welcome to another one of my videos. Today's topic, dating. So I've been watching quite a few of these old 1980s VHS dating videos. It was a type where you would basically describe yourself and what you were looking for. And I was starting to wonder why these things went away. Why were these not effective? Did they not work? Why isn't there a website with video-driven dating? I'm kind of baffled that this isn't a thing, right? Like, you've got Tinder and you've got Plenty of Fish and you've got Match and you've got, I hate to mention all these brand names, but you've got tons of these things, and I'm not advocating for any of them. I honestly think they're all bullshit. They're all ego-driven. They're all designed to essentially make men have to fucking chase after women, and they're all designed to boost the egos of the women, and then they throw advertisements at them, and it's a shit show. It's not dating. It's something else. It's definitely something else. I did use online dating myself with modest success back in the old days. And when I say old days, I mean the 1990s, the old 20th century. And I used Yahoo dating, and they didn't even have pictures back then. This is before people had phones, or I guess there were some cell phones, but there weren't cameras on them. And even regular digital cameras were like, I don't know, hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. And nobody had them. I mean, you could get digitized pictures made, but generally if you were sharing pictures online, they were actual photographs that had been scanned on a scanner. At least that's how I did it at first. Anyway, dating without pictures is kind of interesting because you're actually having to read into who the person is. You have to describe yourself and this and that. Anyway, I'm surprised, honestly, that the technology has not come full circle and we don't see online video dating. I mean, maybe this is a thing and I'm just not aware of it. I had given up on this traditional or technological style of dating. It's so funny. Back in the 90s, the whole internet dating thing was kind of taboo in that, I didn't really care. I was just happy to have some pussy, but the girls were always kind of embarrassed that, oh, I met this guy online. So he's not really a real guy. He's just this internet guy. I don't really know anything about him. I've never been to his house. I don't know anybody that he knows. This is also in the days before social networking. So, people were pretty anonymous. And I specifically made sure I was anonymous. Like, I had my whole technique down, and I learned a lot from the TV show Seinfeld, in that I wanted to avoid the pop-in. So I would purposely seek out girls that were at least an hour away from where I was living, and that wasn't very hard. I was living in a very remote town called Danville, Virginia. Don't worry, you've never heard of it. And there was nobody in that town worth dating, and there wasn't anywhere to meet anybody. I mean, unless you're gonna meet somebody at the laundromat or something. Like, I don't know if that town had but like one or two bars, and at that age I was only like 20, 21 when I was living there, so it's not like I was into bars or anything. The only clubs were like really gross, like hip hop clubs. Not my scene. I guess there was a rave or two, maybe. Again, not my scene. I wouldn't have gone. I would have maybe just heard about it. But I was in college there at the time, and it was a tiny little community college focusing on filmmaking. And that's why I was there. But it was a no man's land. Anyway, I was definitely trying to meet women that were not in my town specifically. Whatever. It was all but one was pretty much meh. And then I met this girl that I wound up dating for 3 years, and she was great. She was one of the best I've ever dated. She was awesome until she found someone she liked better. Whatever. Last I checked, she married the dude and is still with him like 20 years later. So I can't really fault that one. That was definitely her destiny. And you know, I tried online dating after I broke up with her, and you know, again, it's just no. It's I don't think it's healthy. I mean, it's definitely healthy to learn how to fuck up, to learn how to make your mistakes, to learn, oh yeah, it's probably better to interact with people based on actual physical chemistry and, you know, actual like in-person interest. You know, when you meet someone online and you develop this fantasy version of them, and then you meet them in person, like almost always they're going to be disappointing because you've built up this fantasy version of them, and they're never going to match up to that. And you're basically just rolling the dice on chemistry being a thing. So, you know, that's not something you can manufacture. You can't invent it. No matter how much you like somebody, as far as like, you know, mutual interests or compatibility with, you know, personality types or whatever. If you don't have that, you know, that spark, that magic, if it isn't there, then you got nothing. And, you know, some of you might not even know what I'm talking about. You know, I imagine some people go through their whole lives never really having that real spark where they, you know, they just the smell of someone's dirty clothes like turns you on, you know, where your chemicals match perfectly with someone else's, whatever. Hey, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you should keep looking. Stop settling. Well, after that girl I dated for 3 years, you know, I kind of readjusted my expectations, and, you know, I decided that I didn't want just anybody, that I didn't want to just, you know, date just to date. And I definitely was wanting someone, you know, better. Just say better. That sounds so judgmental. Someone that was going to be compatible in a number of ways. So like the girl I dated for 3 years, we had incredible physical chemistry. And I felt like we got along in other ways too. We never fought. We were very agreeable with each other. We both liked a lot of the same things. And, you know, after her, it was a pretty high bar that I had put up, I'll admit. And the breakup hurt me really bad. It was very unexpected. It was, it felt like a big open wound for a long time. And of course, after that breakup, I was stuck in a town full of extremely, let me say, liberal, left-leaning. Heck, I was left-leaning at the time, and liberal, I guess, back in the early 2000s when that meant something different. But over time, the women became more polarized in that town, and just not the same pattern. I mean, the same pattern in that they were abject failures, but it was just one different fucking nightmare scenario after another. So anyway, I was wondering if I could bring back this video dating concept thing and do it myself. That's why I started this video off with my fake voice, or one of my many fake voices, which include a non-regional dialect. I could be from anywhere. That's right. Not quite English. I mean, not quite British, but a very succinct, a very specific non-regional American dialect. Does that work? Was that one of those teeth smiles? Did I accidentally nail the tooth smile? Looked like I did out of the corner of my eye there. Oh no. How do you like the new lighting? It's ominous, isn't it? Makes me kind of look like a little evil. Anyway, so I've tried some of these dating apps, and God, they're awful. They're awful. They're so awful that I've actually kind of invented my own new idea for dating technology, and I talked about it in one of my previous videos. But even that seems convoluted and like a lot of technology just so people can get past the whole like getting to know you phase. And that's just become such a nightmare scenario. People create these, and you know, what I said earlier about creating a fantasy version of someone else, you know, people create fantasy versions of themselves. And then they project that fantasy version of themselves out there, and they either try to do everything they can to catch up with it, or as soon as they meet you and it's like you're snared or something, they just toss it out the window. Like, oh yeah, that was a bunch of horseshit. That's not me. And man, I've run into that a lot. Just the whole phony aspect. There was this one girl that I saw for a while, and when I first met her, you know, she seemed kind of interested, and then we met in person, and we fooled around a little bit, and then she just turned it right off. She was just like, no, we're just going to hang out. And I was like, that's okay. But like, she kept coming around like all the time, like every week she'd come and see me. And, you know, I do a little drawing on the side, and I had been wanting to do some figure drawing at the time. And she decided that she would be cool with modeling for me in the nude. So it was just really confusing. This girl that I liked would come over all the time and take all her clothes off and let me draw her for hours and hours and hours, but then no touchy. Like, what? Are you messing with my head? You do realize I'm a dude, and that I like you, and that seeing you naked is exciting, and then I get excited and I'm demonized for it. Like, fucking games. Just the games that women play. And then they get older and they don't have babies, and then they get even older and then they can't have babies, and then they're alone and they get a couple of cats and they wonder, oh, what's wrong with men? What's wrong with men? It's you! It's you, you dumb fucking bitches. Fuck. Stop playing fucking games. It's so stupid. What do you hope to gain from all the games? I don't understand. I really don't. Like, it must be some kind of ego trip. Like, that's the only thing that I can make out of it, is that it must be some kind of ego trip. But man, I have just seen it backfire time and time again. And, you know, I'm comfortable being single and 42 and being able to do my own thing whenever the hell I want. And, you know, it would be nice to have a family. Maybe. I don't know. I definitely see other families and I'm like, oh, that'd be nice to have. But then I think about all the work involved and all the stuff I'd have to give up and all the things that I've been able to do that I wouldn't have been able to do. And essentially having a boss, I'm not good with bosses. You know, having a wife that would act like a boss. I mean, or what's the other side? A wife that just totally folds no matter what. You know, I mean, that would be fun for a little while, but it would also get old. I don't know. Ladies, I don't know what the fuck I want. I just want someone interesting. I just want someone that keeps me on my toes. I like short walks to the fridge, and I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go through that shit. I just thought that was funny. It popped in my head. Okay, well, this video has been a lot of fun, and I hope it's going to attract tons of hot ladies. I'm going to have to beat them off with a stick, or just beat them off, or just, well, hey, beat myself off. Yeah, that's the most likely scenario. At least I'm not talking about the fucking election, right? That's another problem. Ladies. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it now. But you know what? I love you, and I mean it. That might be the only time you ever hear me say that. It's a branding thing. Until next time.